There's always the smell. You cannot miss the smell here.
A neighborhood plagued by pollution.
Living near Suncor means that you live in fear, that you really don't know what you're breathing in.
The new plan to put Suncor under close scrutiny.
And folks have reported not wanting to get vaccinated, and some of it has to do with information.
COVID cases on the rise in Colorado, and not everyone is sure they want to get the shot.
Our main approach has been listening to the community, look at those barriers.
The new efforts to connect with communities where vaccination rates are lagging.
And vaccine clinics shut down. The storage stumbles forcing some spots to stop putting shots in arms.
Tonight, there's new oversight for this refinery in Commerce City. Complaints about the Suncor plant stretch back years. The state previously reported dozens of leaks, unregulated flares, harmful gas levels well above emission standards.
And then in 2019, this yellow smog blowing from the plant. It settled as a fine yellow dust on nearby homes and cars and yards. Well, for decades, people have been living in the shadow of this refinery, and for many, moving is just not an option.
Well, good evening and welcome to Denver 7 News at 10. I'm Shannon Ogden.
And I'm Ann Trujillo. Thanks for joining us tonight. People who live near that plant are finally getting the oversight they've been demanding.
As Denver7's Sloan Dickey reports, the group in charge of this project says this is about standing up for people who have been ignored for too long.
What is the best thing I could do on Earth Day? Hola, vecina. This. Together we could protect the planet and let them know what's being emitted.
Lucy Molina has been on a mission for 7 years.
We have a lot of pollutants.
She lives less than a mile away from the Suncor refinery in Commerce City.
We smell it. I mean, I could literally taste it sometimes. I could feel it in my throat.
The factory has been criticized in the past for large flares, yellow clouds, and even chemical snow. But activists say it's the pollution we don't see that could be causing the most damage.
We don't know exactly what's being thrown out at us.
Soon they'll get a better picture through a payment from Suncor itself.
We're hoping to learn what pollutants are actually being emitted by the Suncor refinery.
In 2020, Suncor settled a lawsuit with the Colorado Department of Public Health and Environment for air quality violations. $2.6 million of that money was directed to nearby community groups like the one headed by Olga Gonzalez.
Everyone talks about equity and racial justice. This is what it looks like in real time.
Cultivando is an environmental and civil justice organization chosen to take $1.7 million of that money to set up new air monitoring devices around the refinery and nearby neighborhoods to see just what pollutants are impacting the surrounding communities.
It'll give us reliable data about the pollutants in our air. It'll help us understand if there is a link between those pollutants and the health effects that people are experiencing.
The monitors will pick up as many as 50 different pollutants in the air, such as sulfur dioxide, methane, and benzene. Olga says seeing the pollutants on a register will allow the communities to take control of their own environmental health.
It's not somebody doing it for us coming into our community, but it's our own community doing it for ourselves.
And this initiative was announced just yesterday, so the sensors have not been purchased just yet, but organizers tell Sloan they are hoping to use this information to craft a better conversation about the environmental impacts of this refinery with the state of Colorado and with Suncor in the future. We'll stay on top of it for you, we promise. All right, a heads up now for drivers. In just the last 30 minutes, I-70 reopened. Eastbound traffic had been stopped near Silverthorne for hours. Colorado State Patrol responded to a multi-car pileup just east of the Eisenhower Tunnel just after 5 o'clock. And our drone caught these shots of the backup snaking through the mountains. A warning from troopers, traction and chain laws are still in place between Silverthorne and Bakerville because of all the snow and slick roads.
In the fight to contain the coronavirus, I'm afraid things are heading in the wrong direction in our state. Colorado reported more than 2,300 new cases today, and that number's just been climbing steadily for about a month.
Our state is focusing heavily on the vaccine rollout to protect Coloradans and curb the growing case numbers. And it's clear some groups are being vaccinated at a higher rate than others.
Black Coloradans make up just under 4% of our population, but they account for just 2.5% of all vaccinations. For Latinos, that gap's even larger. They make up nearly 22% of our state, but account for just 8.5% of vaccination.
And groups all across our state are now trying to close that gap and get more Latinos vaccinated. Some say how we deliver the message about COVID shots really matters.
One of the things that I really stress, though, is that when we protect ourselves and we look at prevention and we're protected, by vaccine or get vaccinated, then we're also protecting our families. And in the Latino community, family is very important, and so that it's bigger than just the individual.
And beyond convincing people about the vaccine, groups are also working on making it easier to get the shot. That includes everything from expanding hours, offering free rides to clinics, and providing information in multiple languages. For more details, you can head on over to thedenverchannel.com.
A remarkable and unexpected side effect of COVID: no flu. Now, flu season ends exactly 1 month from today, and it really never began. And the feared twindemic, flu season and COVID at the same time, never materialized. In fact, in Colorado to date, there have been 3 deaths and 31 total hospitalizations because of influenza this season. The last flu season before COVID, we had 568 deaths and 3,832 people hospitalized. This afternoon, I talked with Dr. Heather Young with Denver Health about these never-before-seen low numbers, and she told me the mask wearing, the social distancing, the hand washing have made all the difference. But she also said COVID has changed the culture at work, and that has really helped and should help in future flu seasons.
People are truly staying home when they're ill, which is something that Americans in general haven't done before. We all hate taking vacation days because we don't feel well. But with COVID, we've really had to change our practices.
And listen to this. The U.S. normally sees 206,000 people hospitalized with the flu by now. This year, 2,000.
We will have a required vaccination for students returning in the fall.
Coming back to campus, you might need the COVID vaccine.
I think it'll be much better for the college experience.
Some Colorado schools are mandating vaccines for the fall semester.
It's less typical to find exemptions for deeply held personal, sincerely beliefs.
We're taking a 360 look at the push for vaccine requirements, what it all means for students, staff, and the path ahead.
A few rain and snow showers will be possible again for Friday, but boy, the weekend forecast looks terrific.